Super Rolling Heroes is super addictive and super morish, and also very frustrating if you're not very good at it. Cue me and screaming emoji. In Super Rolling Heroes, it's a physics-based platformer where you play as this giant ball, which looks like Kirby's either had a steroids problem or a really big lunch, one or the other, initially to begin with at least, flying out of a window at the top of one of 100 levels. And what you'll need to do is then guide this ball down the level, breaking various structures or causing carnage throughout certain parts of the world as you go. And this is basically everything that's destructible. Depending on how you do with that, you'll then reach the bottom of the level. But you can't slow down, otherwise you explode, a bit like Speed. Or if you hit anything like barbed wire, spikes, fall off the world, anything like that, it's back to the top and off and away you go again. Thankfully, respawning is very, very quick, because you'll be respawning an awful lot with this game, because you need to be exact to make sure that you can get down to the end of the levels. This game has an interesting viewpoint, and it took me a couple of minutes to really get to grips with this, and some levels this wasn't a problem, but as the game gets more and more complicated as you go through these 100 levels, it started to become more challenging as things started to move or get very, very narrow. And that's because it's isometric, but it's slightly offset to the side, or it feels like it is, because quite often I'd think, oh, I can get through that gap, and I'd hit a tree, or I'd hit a piece of barbed wire and explode. And other times I think, oh, I don't think I can do that. And I miraculously managed to slip through. And I was like, hallelujah. Not quite understanding why, but going, okay, game, I'm with you and I'll keep going. The levels are super, super short though. So it means that your frustration is kind of capped, because so long as you make it down the bottom, you quite often have alternative routes that you can go down. So you can choose the easy option and just hit a few of the destructible things, or you can try and go for that gold medal and hit everything. And that's really where the crux and the difficulty of this game comes from. So that allows you to progress through the game, try out new levels, and then you'll find that your skill increases. And when you go back to try and get the gold on earlier levels, you think, oh, what was the fuss about? I was fine. And it's good when a game's able to teach you about its ways and then make you feel good when you then go back to earlier stuff and be like, it's a piece of pea, la la la. This game does that very well. As you go through the levels, not only do you have this bronze, silver and gold kind of element, which then gives you coins for you to buy upgrades, customization for your character, so you can have different faces, different emojis, different clothes, different colours. As you go through all of these different stages, there's also a par time that you can aim for. These are hard as nails. You have to be exactly perfect to be able to hit most of these. I only hit about 4 the entire game. And I was like, oh, well, I tried. But I was still getting down to the bottom of the level. And because I was hitting all of the things as I went, I was still getting silver or gold for the vast majority of the levels as I went. So I took that as a win for me. But if you're looking for 100% in this game and getting these exact par times, oh my, you're in for a treat. One of the few things that I would say is a negative about this game is that it does give you power-ups and secrets, but it doesn't explain what any of these are when you come across them. So some of these things are electric charges that blow up things that are around you. There are missiles that when you hit at one trajectory, it will shoot off in exactly the opposite direction. So you need to kind of ram into it in a certain way for the missile to then hit your targets. There's also speed boosts and a jump and all of this kind of stuff. But the first time you see it, it doesn't get explained to you. So it felt like needless deaths. But thankfully, because the levels are so short, it's rather than a frustration, if that makes sense. If you do get through those 100 levels, you then get Rolling Hell mode, which to be fair is there from the beginning of the game, but I don't recommend it until you've completed the 100 level split, because Rolling Hell is the entire 100 level game continuously. No breaks, one life, you've got to do it all. I had a go. I got to level 47, I think it was, before I died. And I took that, again, as a incredulously great win. So I'm quite happy to watch someone absolutely own it on YouTube. I don't think I'll ever get there myself. And that's where this game really earns its difficult stripes. That mode in itself, I think, will be the maker or breaker of people being like, I'm a good gamer and I've got myself on this online leaderboard, because one wrong move, game over. So absolutely up there with some of the best challenges that you've got out there in physics-based platformers today. I hope that was informative. I also recommend probably waiting for a sale for this, because it had a 40% launch discount price, which was when I picked it up. Now, I'm sure it will probably have a drop again in price at some point in the future. I would recommend this at full price for the amount of content that you get in it, because it will keep you amused for hours. But I suspect this is going to be one of those games that has like a big drop for sales, so stay tuned for one of those. Comments or questions, leave them down below. Written review will be over on higherplanegames.com. Take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.